wrong one. Okay. Ready? We call to order of the Oroville Planning Commission and the Historic Advisory Commission. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rossi,
Here.
Commissioner Hallen, Commissioner Sheard, here. Commissioner Jensen, Vice Chairperson Jenkins,
Here.
Chairperson Durling.
Here. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and be seated. Okay, this is an opportunity for anyone that wants to make any kind of presentation to the Planning Commission. It's not on the calendar. We can't take any action.
Mr. Chairperson, I do not have any blue speaker cards for non-agenda items.
I can't hear you.
I do not have any blue speaker cards for
Okay.
non-agenda.
Okay. And what about on the internet? Are we, nothing there too? Okay. Thank you. All right. Item 1, the approval of the minutes. It's on the consent calendar, so I need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of April 28, 2022. Call the roll. Oh, that's right. We're able to do this now, huh? That's right.
Motion carries with 5 yeses and 1 absent.
All right, thank you. Okay, we go under regular business. Open the hearing for item 2, Green Estates tentative subdivision map.
Mr. Chairman, Danny Kopshaver will be presenting this item.
Okay,
Okay, this review is for a 2-year extension of the McGreen Estates subdivision map.
is your mic on?
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm having a hard time hearing.
It's a 15-lot subdivision off of 2nd Street, south of the Butte County Hall of Records, and north of Oroville Community Day School. Home Depot is to the west. The lots range from 3,235 square feet to 6,575 square feet. Each lot developed will be a 2-story affordable housing unit. There will be a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces and the option of a 1 to 2 car garage for each residence. Development will include curb, gutter, and sidewalk improvements. The map shows sidewalks on only one side of the street, but the Planning Commission voted to include sidewalks on both sides, and this was added as condition number 10A. Street trees will be planted on both sides of the street, and other landscaping or trees will be built into each lot.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I think I opened the hearing for the item already. Do we have anyone from the audience want to make a presentation or anything?
Mr. Chairperson, I do not have any blue speaker cards on this item.
Well, okay. And nothing on the internet, right?
We don't take comments by Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right. That was fast.
Can we ask
Turn it over to the commission and make a decision or any discussion.
Can you state again what we're being asked to do here and why?
This is an extension of a pre-approved subdivision map. So this was approved previously by the Planning Commission, and it's coming for a 2-year extension. That's the item. Yeah.
Is there a why or what's?
It was set to expire, so the applicant has asked for a 2-year extension, and that's due to the project never started because of COVID.
Okay, so the applicant it does plan to build the project.
He's ready to start now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
How do you define low income? Is that have a number, a price on it? And does it have to stay low income? If the developer, once something is approved low income, does it have to stay that, or can they do something market priced if they want to?
Low income has different definitions. Oftentimes, it's either 60 or 80% of the median household income. If it's a low-income project, oftentimes the developer seeks additional funding or tax credits or something like that in order to build. These lots are small. It's zoned R2, and they're small lots, so they can only accommodate small homes, and so they would tend to be occupied by folks with limited incomes.
So there's not a price on the home? I don't know, I'm just wondering the range, like 200,000, 300,000, or that's something that doesn't really come into play?
That probably will not be known until the developer finds a builder and then prices out the cost of developing the subdivision, including the street and everything else.
Okay.
Are these for rent or for sale?
These are for sale.
They're for sale.
Yes.
And so they have to be, so when they're built, they're being built categorically as low income, correct?
Categorically as affordable housing units.
Affordable housing.
Right. That's the way they've been defined here.
So then they'll be selling these, and they're going to be duplexes, they'll be selling them as duplexes.
Yes.
How long has it been? When was it first approved?
About Second Street.
And has there been any other extensions?
There's been no other extensions.
Yeah, it was approved in 2019, and our codes allow 3 years without extension, and they've requested the extension.
Any other discussion?
I don't think these are duplex, they're single family, right? They're not duplexes?
No, it said
Sorry.
duplex, 2-story duplex unit.
So, some of them are single-family and some are duplex, according to, at least according to the staff report. The ones on the end cap are supposed to be duplexes, lots 7, 8, and 9,
Down where the hammerhead is.
if I remember correctly.
I think it's down where the hammerhead is.
Yeah.
Those are duplex. Yeah.
But they'll all be affordable housing units, not market rate.
That's what is being proposed, I think.
We didn't really verify that again, confirm that with the applicant. We can do that and bring that back to you.
Well, I'm just, because the fees change if you're doing affordable housing, correct? As opposed to market rate housing. Impact fees?
No, the fees remain the same regardless. The advantage to the developer is that they can access other funding, tax credits and such, to make the homes more affordable. The city doesn't give a break, I don't think, for affordable housing.
Okay, so, well, like, how about for the impact fees for like park and school? Because I know that those fees, especially the school fee, can be different for affordable housing, correct?
I don't know that.
So,
It's done by the school superintendent. The fees are set that way, and they're paid directly to the school system.
And is that just, and this might be off topic, but I'm just curious about that, because the school fee per square foot right now is $4.09, and it goes to $4.79 in July, which is, it's almost $5 a square foot.
That's a lot.
It's pretty steep. Now, I mean, and can they just arbitrarily vote on this themselves, the school board, and raise this up all the time, or is there any, reasoning for their increase?
They have to do annual or biannual studies, just like the city does, to determine the cost of providing education to students, and then allocate the school fees accordingly. They're not allowed to make money on it, so they set those fees based on studies that are done.
Because I mean, their fee for commercial is like 20 cents a square foot or something really small, and for single family, again, it's I know because I just paid 11 grand,
Okay.
and it seems so for the price of the homes here, that seems to be a very steep impact fee for the school tax, which again goes to, and they say, if we have affordable housing, it changes or what have you.
Okay.
I just didn't, know how the school board sets their fees. Because again, that's another added cost for a developer.
We will investigate that and bring back a report to you at the next meeting on how the schools set their fees.
Well, I just like to know how they justify,
Yeah.
almost what is that? Almost 20% increase in their square foot.
Wes,
Yes,
sorry,
Connor?
this is Connor.
Oh, hey, Connor.
So the school districts, they have a consultant that has reached out to us a couple years in a row now, asking for development projections within the city and our sphere of influence. So they kind of ask for active projects that we have underway and kind of what we project based on the zoning found within the city. And based on that information of how many units of housing may be produced, equating to how many students per household, estimating, 2.5 children per household, that's kind of how they get to determining those fees, whether they have to increase them because the city now has more mixed-use zoning, which allows for higher density, things like that. So they kind of base it off of the projections of the zoning found within the city and our sphere and within the county to determine, how many kids are people going to have within each home that could be built at maximum potential.
Right, and that makes sense, but I mean, I remember back, in the mid-2000s, we had, 2,000 paper lots approved, and none of them ever got built. So they're projecting based on, so they were in their fees projecting all these new front doors, but they never happen, but they still collect all this money. It's just another added fee. I mean, you gotta have it, I understand it, but I mean, it seems to be a little excessive for Oroville to be almost $5 a square foot for the school tax. That's all I'm saying. And, then you have homeowners who build a home who might be empty nesters or don't have kids that go to school that are paying 10 grand.
The projections we gave them this time around did not include building all 2,000 of those lots. We predicted a rate of growth from where we are now. And hopefully some of those lots will get built soon, but that's the information we gave them.
Right. And being that we've been doing a lot of affordable housing units, and if they get a break on the fee, I don't know, to me, it just seems an excessive fee, that's all.
We'll take a look at these fees and compare them to Butte County and Chico and other communities around and see how they stack up.
Right, the
There may be-
median price in Chico and those other areas is a lot higher. I mean, if you look at Livermore, for example, they might be $6 or $7 a square foot, but their homes are 4 times the amount here. So it's just, we always say that our fees are in line with other areas, but when you talk percentage-wise, are they in line?
We'll check into that for school fees especially. We are in the process of reevaluating our existing fee structure, which hasn't been changed since, I believe, 2008. And so we're providing different numbers, and our fees are likely to go up dramatically because they haven't been changed in, 15 years.
Are we talking about all impact fees?
Yeah, all impact fees and permit review fees and everything else. So we'll see how that shakes out, and we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Is there any other subdivision that they've done in town, this builder?
We're not aware of any, and we think that
Okay.
the owner of the property created their own subdivision.
I don't have any more questions.
I have one. He's declaring that he's gonna build this as lower moderate income housing. Is there any enforcement of that? When he finally gets he comes in and gets his, final map? How is that enforced, or just not enforced at all, or, how is the city assured that he's actually going to have housing for lower moderate income people, or end up converting it to market rate?
The city has, this developer has not asked the city for any incentives, density bonuses, or anything like that, which is, we often give in the case of low and low moderate income housing. They have not asked for that. If
To me, that's an indicator that he is leaving his options open.
Well, that could be, the housing authority issues vouchers and certifies low-income homes and requires rents to be at certain levels. So Section 8 and other types of vouchers for low-income residents. And as I mentioned, there are also tax credits for low-income, state tax credits and such for low-income
Yeah,
developments.
That's all available to him, but not necessarily required of him if he hasn't gotten any assistance from the city in any way ahead
That's
of time.
Probably correct.
He's basically
Yeah.
open to do whatever he wants.
Probably so, yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Within the limits of whatever he's set up with, whatever organization, whatever financing, there are a lot of different ways that
Yeah.
you can offer below market or low income housing. As you say, there are a lot of different definitions of low income, and there's just as many definitions of low income housing, and that's not really something that
Well,
we can really
No,
do anything
what
about here in our
concerns,
body.
not concerns me, but I just want to make it clear that he's talking to us, or this is presented to us as a project for low and moderate income housing. And I suspect often developers will do that to kind of help us along to approve it. But there's no requirement for him to do it unless he has gotten some type of cost-cutting measures or whatever from the city. And he hasn't asked for any of that, then it's important to understand that those houses all can be built market rate, as it stands right now, today. And I just want to make sure the commissioners understood that.
That's what I was hoping, because I think we are at our quota and over our quota of low income. So personally, I would love to see more market priced
Yes.
homes.
I'm along with that, but that's a separate issue. I just want to make sure that we understand that what we're approving here is not necessarily lower moderate income housing.
What I understand is that this is a subdivision map that has already been approved, and they're just wanting an extension because the project was delayed due to COVID.
Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? Okay, I'll close the hearing. Any further discussion or emotion or whatever?
A motion to approve item 2 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the McGreen Estates tentative subdivision map extension.
Motion carries with 5 yeses and 1 absent.
Thank you. Okay, item 3, former Oroville Ford dealership interior and exterior improvements. Staff?
Yes, Commissioners, this is a facade update for the Ford dealership that is across the street. And let me bring up it's here somewhere. This is a overlay aerial photo, Google, of the Ford dealership, which is across the street.
It's not showing up.
I know, I'm trying to
Oh.
get it.
There we go.
We are here right now, sitting in the Planning Commission's office, or the council's chambers. And the applicant, Mark Mendez, who is here, is completing purchase of this entire block that housed the former Ford dealership. An earlier facade version of 1726, which is this building on the corner, was discussed at the May 12th DRC meeting, and some changes were worked out at that time during that meeting. The facade changes that are proposed now apply to the front of 1726, 1790, which is where the cars are parked inside, and the backside of 1726, where there is a plan to put an ozone hatchet throwing recreational facility. This is the facade taken last week of 1790 Montgomery. This is the facade of 1726 Montgomery before it was boarded up. Right now it's boarded up. You can see the brickworks and the glass and everything else. And then this is the facade where ozone would go, with the glass corner and such. The proposed facade, as of a week ago, and Mark has indicated he might have made some changes, then we do not have color renderings here. Actually, Mr. Chairman, I forgot to ask if you would open the Historic Advisory Commission.
I did
You did
that.
that too, as well? Thank you.
Yes. I do
color-
that right at the beginning.
Good. Color renderings are being prepared, but they're not available at this time. The Historic Advisory Commission does have the option to table the discussion until the color renderings are available, or can continue to discuss this project as proposed. These buildings are in the downtown historic overlay, but they're not in the smaller historic preservation district. City Hall, where we are sitting, and the Carnegie Library are in fact in the Historic Preservation District. Applicants' facades are therefore not required to meet our turn of the 20th century design theme requirement. Tonight before you is only the facade for the three buildings I mentioned. The buildings, other portions of a larger project that applicant is planning and working on are subject to future use permits, including the ozone project. So the facade was worked out in some detail at the Development Review Committee, and Mark Mendez is here to describe his proposal.
Good evening. For our last meeting, we talked about trying to add some features on there, and which we did. We added the coins in the side of the building, trying to match more of the time period, and removed all the stonework we had on there and went to limestone wainscoting all the way across the bottoms of all below the buildings. So if you look at the bottom, we have limestone coins, and then we have limestone wainscot below all the windows. It's a pretty high-end building. I mean, so it's and this would be, the pressing issue here is that the limestone is, of course, limestone color. It's natural color. The only color that we'd have that would have anything on it would be the actual metal awnings, and then the stucco around the windows itself, which is a minimal amount. That's the only place that we'd have color. We could either leave the awnings in a rust color or in a black color. That's about the only two that would make sense for that, and then it'd be clear coated. We're trying to do the same. We have the same. When he spoke of the ozone there that business is trying to open, their facade is already taken off for the water damage that was done there, and we want this to match, of course, that the side of the building matches the front of the building. So this would be this one that Wes has shared with you is one side, but it's going to be duplicated because the buildings are identical in terms of left and right. In terms of, I think you mentioned, Wes, that we were in the process of purchasing that. We've owned that building for a couple of years.
Yeah, you have owned the front half of the block. It's the back half that you're completing purchase separately. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a little more. It's pretty upper end, upscale. I mean, it's limestone and coins, and all the glass is being changed out. It's all going to be to current glass. Not all the glass that's there now would be removed. So I think it's definitely, there's crown molding on the top. I mean, it's definitely a huge upgrade to that building, an expensive one. So, I mean, I would think that we'd be happy to have this. I mean, honestly, it's a really nice, we do have it for renderings, but it's taken us a couple weeks to get renderings right now, and we want the renderings for ourselves also and for marketing. We do have a couple clients that are looking at the fronts of both these buildings and the whole other building on the car storage right now that are all complimentary professional services clients. So to feel that building's been empty for so long, I mean, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for adding the coins, and I wanted to say it's Quoins.
Oh, I know, I'm an architect, yeah.
We could put coins there.
That's the architect spelling.
But
I was going out of my pocket is what I was thinking.
Exactly. Yes, but yeah, thank you. I think, because that matches this building, which I think is nice to do.
It will, and it's gonna help us. I mean, it's nice, and actually the wainscot panels in the bottom, well, actually he missed it, but there will be, separation. There'll be like every 3 feet, the panels. These are actually prefabricated limestone panels that will go up there.
Yeah,
So
I don't know I can't picture what those look like. I
they'll
don't
show
know
you.
if there's a visual.
I mean, I would like to get approval, to move forward with it, so we can get them ordered, and then the actual color, we could say unconditional, you have to do final approval of the color, that's fine with me, of the actual, whatever limited paint there is. But we're gonna look at it, on the rendering and really make a decision ourselves, but the primary, everything is limestone. So and the limestone's a natural color, so I think that's gonna be, it's just, what do we wanna contrast it with?
Yeah.
So this stuff right now is taking us about 14 weeks to get, so that's what we're trying, as pressing is to,
The limestone?
yeah, they have to be made, so they're custom to, so we'll order them from a factory that'll make them. Actually, they're made right in Oliver's. But, still takes time to make the molds and get in line with everybody else. So that's what we're trying to do. And there's a lot of work of just, when we took the facade off of the ozone location, we totally rotted out, we had to replace everything up there, and so I
Yeah.
know we're gonna run across some of that stuff here.
Yep.
But it's time for the old blue roofs and the old metal to go. I mean, it's just ugly. So we definitely want to attract tenants, and we want something to look really nice. So I think that's what I had said, is we're just looking for approval so we can get going on it.
All right. I have a question. I think this one's for Wes. What is the Historical Advisory Commission's responsibility here? I mean, you say this is, it's outside of the revitalization district, but it's just across the street. What specifically are?
It's in the downtown historic overlay, so the advisory commission does review any building changes that are either landmark buildings or facade or other improvements for commercial buildings in the downtown historic overlay.
What do we know about the architectural history of these buildings?
You're looking at it.
I couldn't find any information, that's why I'd asked. And I'm not
Because it
surprised
was
if you
built
don't
about
know.
100 years ago.
Yeah,
Well, they were
yeah.
actually just block, they were, previous to, it's just a block building, it was brick on the front and then down the sides, and actually, there was no architectural detail on the buildings.
Jackie, are you able to open that photo that I sent you?
I sent them to Wes and I emailed them to you guys.
Oh, I didn't see that.
If I take this down, I can pull it up really quick. Let me-
I mean, years ago, we purchased the Del Mar Dodge dealership from the city. I don't know how many years ago it was, 6, 8 years ago. And that was just a square box also, the old dealership, Dodge dealership on Baldwin.
Well, while she's pulling that up, I as far back as I could look, this was a Ford dealership. Back to the Sanborn and fire insurance maps, the 1926 maps, show the Ford dealership in its current building configuration. So, at least 96 years, and it's probably, I'm assuming perhaps our first car dealership in town.
It was the only one for a long time.
Yeah,
That was it.
Model Ts, Model As.
yeah.
If you wanted something else,
It was
you had to go to Chico.
listed on the maps as Ford.
Some of the stuff we found in those buildings, yeah, it was Model T, Model A's.
That's what I was saying. You're going back almost 100 years.
Yeah, and probably more than. I mean, that's the map I saw was 26, and I didn't look hard or anything. The previous map that I saw was 1884, and of course that was long before automobiles. Those were single family homes on that block in 1884.
Yeah,
So-
they have, on Feather River, where the one drive-through we have on Feather River, that was originally a hotel back many, many years ago, and that's actually was modular trailers that went around that property for the dam, the guys that built the dam was there, for the old maps that I found. So that, all that infrastructure was still there underground.
Wow.
Any questions of the applicant?
How are you gonna deal, so this is about the two corners.
Yes.
So then what's happening with the middle, and is
Well, the middle is
that,
gonna be continued, and you can, well, the drawing's not back up there, but you can see where the garage separation is.
yeah,
And then the rest of it between the two buildings is gonna be dependent on the facades are gonna be identical.
okay,
How the finished section, of course, would have to, design-wise, match, continuous, but we're gonna need parking depending on what the users are, so we're gonna have to determine that. We can't close it up, we're gonna need parking to accommodate for some of the users we have.
yep,
We have title companies looking, we have a bank looking, we have quite a bit different thing looking that wanna be downtown.
Well, the users are gonna kind of want their own identity in terms of colors and things like
I
that.
don't think we're gonna give them the option of color. I think we'll give them, there's gonna be enough separation between the two, but we're more concerned about the look of the building, just overall, to be, one contiguous look.
I don't know which one you're wanting.
That's a
Yeah,
great photo, Wyatt, the one back there.
Yeah, somebody
That's
found-
Yeah, there you
awesome.
go.
Somebody
Wow.
found that for me. I believe the scallops.
Love that.
I believe the
Better
scallops
than-
were cut off maybe from an earthquake damage or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
That makes more sense.
it doesn't look that.
Yeah, nothing
The
like
top
that.
doesn't look
Nothing
like
I,
that.
that
well, yeah,
there
the
now.
top's gone with that ugly, but
Did
yeah,
you
there
notice
you
the
go.
automobile there?
Yeah, it's old. I think
Does that
that's.
tell you something?
I believe that's when the building was being constructed.
Actually,
Wow.
There's
at
no
one
glass in
point-
the windows.
Yeah,
Awesome.
at one point, they removed most of the brick, and if you go around that building, there's actually seismic plating all over the place. And there's cables actually holding the buildings together like a big bow.
Yep.
It's because they're not seismically very strong. So the actual roof structure is not attached to the brick walls. It's actually independent because the brick is just cosmetics.
Okay. The true divided light windows I like too.
Yeah, that's actually nice. I've never seen that one.
That's a very nice photo.
Definitely, I wish it was left like that right now. It'd be a lot easier to work
Yeah.
on. Yeah, than it is right now when they put that canopy on that thing. It's crazy.
And you said at the DRC meeting that it was going to be offset. So this other section, which I know we're not talking about, but it's going to be set back.
You're speaking of where the garage door opening
Yes.
is? That's set back 8 feet.
Set back. So, because I just think that's a nice visual to
The actual
understand.
the center section is set back where the main doors go
Mm-hmm.
in, steps back, as do the back section, and it doesn't show
Yes,
the
right,
planters.
Yeah, so you can't see that.
There's planters below those grids on the walls. And then we're working with Dawn because they're gonna be doing quite a bit of sidewalk repair all through there because there's a lot of trees and such that are blowing the sidewalk out. So it makes sense that we would do the repairs and then let them come after the fact instead of being on top of fresh new. Because there's quite a bit of work here to do.
I think you're moving in a very good direction.
Appreciate it.
To-
We want it to look good. I mean,
Yeah.
it needs to be something that sets the bar, not just a patch job. So
Absolutely.
that's what we'd like to see it.
Yep.
And, it's our families, that my daughter and my son-in-law, we all work together and, we plan on owning them for a long time. We don't want to do anything that's halfway. We want to do it nice and say that, something we did.
Cool.
Is there interest in helping commemorate the property as our first car dealership?
A plaque?
Now you're touching
can
on
put a
what
plaque.
I was trying to bring up,
Yeah.
that's.
I'm not sure if this was, because was the Dodge dealership previous?
With that photo.
As far
the
as I
white.
could tell.
Did you see the?
In the lobby.
Sanborn.
Oh, yeah, that's hard to beat Model Ts, yeah, because I do have pictures of the Del Mar dealership.
It would look good in the lobby, a picture of that.
Yeah, where did you actually find that picture?
Yeah, that's very
Somebody
cool.
found it for me.
At the
Somebody
county?
found it for me online. No, online. So.
Well, actually, if you could forward that to me, Wes, that'd be great, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. So like I said, what we're trying to do is to get it approved, and I don't mind the one very small amount of paint that's gonna be on here. If somebody wants to approve at a later point, we can show you, but we're gonna have the renderings, but fastest we could get rendering was in 2.5 weeks. And that's just, yeah. But we do need to get the roof put back on and all the facade being built and all the parts ordered for the side of this building, which is that entry to the new business over there.
Yes. that was on.
And we're trying to get them open no later than end of July, so they haven't, because they're going through a use application. So we want to get them open. They're basically going to be ready to open. And I don't want to hold them up for a period of time.
Fantastic. Any further questions of the applicant or staff? Close the hearing. Discussion of the commissioners or motion? Or both?
Yeah, I don't know, I like it. Yeah, we need more of this in town, for sure.
No motion?
Oh, then I could make a motion to approve item 3 as agendized.
Good enough.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Motion carries with 5 yeses and 1 absent.
I will note
Thank
that.
you. It's gonna be, you're doing a good job.
We're trying.
Thank you for the investment, definitely.
Well, we
We
have the whole-
appreciate that a lot.
As you'll see on here, it says not part, but the whole back, we're just closed escrow on the back. There's 3 lots in the back corner that we just closed, that we're adding buildings that are gonna be matching on the backs of this also, that are going to fulfill corner to corner. And then the lots that are across the street from that, against the levee, we're just closing escrow on those also.
And I take it we'll be seeing this project again in this, on this body later on?
Yeah, where he has, up there, there's actually, we're having to do a parcel, boundary line modifications or parcel modification, not sure yet, because there's actually 14 lots right there. So unless we can build houses that are some 7 feet wide, we're not gonna be able to get, we're gonna have to do something. That's what's there. There's actually lots that are 7 feet wide.
You know,
So,
put a 15-story building there and the top, bunch of floors could have a nice view of the lake, of the
I think
river.
what Glenn mentioned though is I can't afford the school fees. That's the problem.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's definitely on point for the school fees. They're ridiculous. For, you know, it's ratio of what is a house selling for here versus the Bay Area. I paid $16,000 in fees for my house I'm building, and it's just, yeah, it's, and I have no kids, right? They'll never be going to school, so there's gotta be something, but there is no, there's no, discount for affordable housing. The school fees are what they are, for the developers. So, but most of those developers are just trying to sell those projects. They keep them alive so they can sell them to somebody else, because it's probably not economically feasible right now.
Yeah.
So they just keep them alive. Okay, Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can't wait to see it.
I know. When you walk past, it's just an eyesore over there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mike.
Okay, item 4 is commissioner reports. In this part of the agenda, personally, what I'm hoping is, if any of you have attended any meetings, done anything or seen anything that is planning oriented that would be of interest, now's the time to mention it, discuss it. If not, we'll go on to item 4. And our historical advisory commission reports, maybe get a feel for what happened at the city council.
So this is where we would talk about the awards?
Yep. A little bit.
So,
I think we're gonna
okay.
have a separate study session, right?
Danny actually has a couple suggestions for how to move forward on that.
Yeah, just as a quick report, the city council did approve the Historic Preservation Award Program. So some of the next steps could be to form a subcommittee of 2 members, and including staff, and then to prepare to identify a date or a set of dates for the award program, and to establish a protocol for building the inventory for potential targets for the award.
Okay.
And I was thinking we need to explore what we want to give, hope to give besides the plaque. I mean, I would just love if there could be something, like if Home Depot could donate money to sponsor it, and Ace Hardware in town. I don't know. And I also thought, you know, one thing that would be a dream for anyone who lives in a neighborhood with that parkway strip is if the city could do something on a parkway strip. I mean, there's just a lot of things. If we want to make people want to get the reward, I think it would be neat to explore what we could do to make it really something of value.
What I was thinking, and, you know, it's up to the commission if you want to authorize doing it, but we have a Chamber of Commerce that has most of the businesses, not all of them, in Oroville, to work with the chamber and through them have a meeting or make contacts with or inform the businesses that are part of the Chamber of Commerce what we're trying to do, and we're looking for help financially and funding ideas. They might have ideas of what they think might be historically important. And, so anyway, I don't know if staff would do some, make contact with the chamber, or staff and a commissioner make contact with the chamber, or how you want to do that, but I think there's a resource there that I don't want to lose, or I want to take advantage of.
In addition to support from the chamber, part of the commission's duties in administration of the award are to solicit corporate sponsorships. So that, in addition to the plaque and then the reception, where there can be any protocol established for what the reception will be, the celebration, the ceremony, that could play a role with corporate sponsorships as well, which we'll need to pursue.
So are we going to have a study session?
Yeah, so is that how this works? We have a smaller group within this body of 2 that do this?
Right. So a subcommittee with staff included, and we can set a
Would you
date for
and I on
that tonight to
We ought to just
have
continue
the
that.
first meeting for
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I think we need to set up that meeting, but, obviously, I want the whole commission involved at stages as we go along,
Right.
not just the committee and all of a sudden the rest of the commissioners are surprised. You
Well,
know,
we can get their approval.
Huh?
Is that, would we get their approval?
Yeah.
We would meet and
Right.
come up with something, and then we would get their approval.
Right, right. So we'll rely on you to set that up with the subcommittee,
Okay.
and I'm pretty much free, as long as it doesn't fall on a doctor's appointment.
So, just so that I'm perfectly clear, Natalie and Carl are the subcommittee, the historic subcommittee continuing
We were
of the work
initially, I
that
guess
they
we're-
started on.
If there's no objections of the commissioners.
And we will also reach out to the chamber to see when we can connect
That-
with them
I
and
think
discuss.
If we don't reach out to them, we've really missed the boat, personally.
And also Oroville Downtown Business Association.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah. there we
There's a
go.
lot of overlap there with membership, but we'll reach out to both and try and get a session together with all at once and then see how we can move forward with that.
And I don't have a problem, if the subcommittee, staff goes and meets with them, or, they need to know that this is important for Oroville, and it's important for their businesses. And so we need to establish a strong link and communication link, with them. So, but we can kind of detail that on our first meeting, how we're gonna do it and so forth, so. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I agree. I think it sounds good.
Okay, staff
great.
reports?
Yes. Upcoming, the Development Review Committee meets on June 9th. And we have several projects to discuss. One is a preliminary application for a mini storage by Rhino, which is a large mini storage company, which would set up hundreds, if not thousands, of mini storage units behind the Goodwill store, between the Goodwill store and the Maverick, in that vacant land, and also build a building where that empty concrete pad is behind Applebee's. So this is a very large mini storage proposal that will be discussed at Development Review. We've
What's
told
the
them that they
committee?
would need a use permit before anything got approved or moved forward. But there are enough staff concerns, we'll call them, that we'd like to discuss it at DRC with many departments, and 2 planning commissioners, so we can get a read on this project. We just received today a conceptual application for the Lincoln Apartments. This is on Lincoln Boulevard, south of the EMPLA Healthcare Building, and north of Elgin Street, where the housing is, north of the olive processing plant on that same side of Lincoln. There's a 13-acre vacant lot in there, and they've proposed 61 senior and 61 family affordable housing in 2 separate sections. So we'll get a chance to look at that. They are in a rush because there's a deadline of July 1st to submit for 9% tax credits for affordable housing. So,
Okay, so they're serious about affordable housing on this
yes,
project. then.
yes. And it's along the same lines as the River Bend and the Olive Grove Ranch and all the others that have been built now. Mitchell Senior Affordable, they're all taking advantage of those 9% tax credits that are available to build affordable housing.
Is that the lot that's quite a bit below the grade of the road?
Yes, it's pretty steep right at Lincoln, and then it sort of flattens out, and then it drops down towards the railroad tracks there and goes into the floodplain. There is an oversized garage proposed at 293 Table Mountain Boulevard, north of the river, which we will review. We had one discussion of Gold Creek Commons, which is the 800-unit condominium project there at Lincoln, just north of Popeyes. And we'll perhaps have a second discussion at DRC. There is a public meeting that's going to occur on the 31st, which is next Tuesday, where the applicant's going to present their project here in this room, and it's at 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock, and
Are you able to show the commission the photo?
Which photo?
I don't think we have that loaded.
How many units did you say?
It's 211. 211.
211.
Gold Creek is 211? I thought it was more than that.
Well, it's commercial below, right? Apartments above.
100,000 square feet of
Wes, do you want me to
commercial.
pull up the rendering?
Yeah.
Sure, if you have it handy. I was just looking for it myself.
Yeah, I could log in.
Subterranean parking, I think.
So, question.
I've got it here, Connor.
Okay.
There's the rendering there of what it would look like. Popeyes is right here. And this is Lincoln, and this is the fish store right here. And this is PCP's processing plant. So there's a number of 4-story condominium buildings proposed here. And so that's just a preview. We expect the project to change over time. We have some concerns at the staff level that it's pretty intense.
So my
And,
question would be, this is big urban, do we have the infrastructure that can handle that type of, Oro Dam's already packed.
Yeah.
What is the future for infrastructure upgrade? Because
we
with
will
Caltrans and-
we will be requiring a detailed traffic study, and Caltrans will be informed and involved as well.
Okay.
Can you show a couple of the other photos just real quickly that kind of show what it's like? Yeah, see, it just kind of has a different, to see it from that angle.
And that's also affordable housing?
No, this is
No.
market rate
This is
housing.
market driven.
It's gotta be market rate.
Okay.
And their proposal for parking is to use the lift system to park your car down below grade. And if you go and you order your car,
Yeah.
you can get it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've seen
And,
that. They
drive
got them
off.
stacked 3, 4, it's like an elevator
Yeah,
for your car.
it's like an elevator.
Huh.
And that red line there is the buffer between PCP, which has industrial activity, and right now they have a whole bunch of pallets stacked there to prepare for their processing season. And the overlook onto that from those three buildings.
What
are
is that
closest to
behind
it.
is that water? Is that a water feature?
This?
That?
That's a, basically it's
That's a water feature there?
canal,
That's-
it's drainage.
An existing drainage that they
Goes-
That they're gonna turn into a
Goes
water feature?
underground there.
turn into a water feature, yes.
It's surfaced in different areas as you go north, up there where the doctor's appointments, the doctor's offices are and things.
Yeah, this drainage carries water drainage from the hospital and that area as well.
It's the drainage that floods our commercial area when we get really heavy rain, yes. So I'm assuming that's going to be addressed in there.
Actually, it did overflow, a few years ago at Denny's, flooded that's where the water came from. It couldn't handle the flow.
That water's going to.
Yes, exactly.
So please, commissioners, don't give any opinions about the project because we would be violating the Brown Act here.
No.
So, the Planning Commission next month on June 23rd, you will be presented with a rezone of the Ford dealership. The back half is zoned public, quasi-public, and the 14 lots that he is purchasing are also zoned public, quasi-public. We intend to rezone those to downtown mixed use.
Rezoned to what?
Downtown mixed use,
Okay.
so that they can be useful commercially. A use permit for the hatchet throwing ozone project is expected. On May 17th, the council, and you folks already talked about it before the meeting, the fence ordinance was approved, first reading by the city council. And Connor's wonderful PowerPoint was not not viewed. I've had that happen to me before too, Connor, on
It's better
various
to
other
be
times.
prepared, though.
Yeah.
Better to be prepared. And Commissioner Jensen, thank you very much for being there. I think your testimony was very helpful to the council and may have swayed a vote or two there. Upcoming is the draft housing element. We have to update that for the 6th cycle of regional housing allocation numbers. It's a 200-plus page document. We are getting it next week, June 1st, for review, and then it will go out to 30-day public review, and it will come to the Planning Commission for review on June 23rd. So expect to have a whole lot to read before that June 23rd meeting.
So you're telling us to strap in.
Yes, indeed.
We can get that prior to June 23rd?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
No, you get it the day before.
No, I just want to make sure.
Hey, I've seen that happen.
Pull an all-nighter.
You.
We post a notice that this draft is available for public review. That's part of the requirements for getting the housing element approved. And during that 30-day public review, this commission will hear and make recommendations on the housing element. Then it will go to council on July 19th after the 30-day public review is closed. And then, assuming the council approves it, it will go to Housing and Community Development at the state for a 45 or 90-day review. After which it will get edits back, comments back from HCD, and we'll have to revise the housing element. So there's a couple of highlights about this. It has policies and goals for affordable and market rate housing, and it's worth looking at for our policies for those. And there's a new section with lots and lots of data about demographics and our population and how it breaks down with single-family homes and single-parent
too.
homes, and yes, and forecasting citywide. So it'll be a good read.
All 200 pages.
Actually not producing.
So that's staff report for today.
Okay, anything else that the commissioners want to bring up? Queries of staff? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting. And next meeting is June 23rd, 6 p.m.